everyone, so today's video is going to be a video all about my favorite books with LGBT plus representation. Now I'm gonna say it just like I say it in all of my recent videos. I have been having very little energy to film lately, so if I seem less energetic than usual, it's because of that. It's not because I'm not excited for Pride Month or anything, but yeah, I've just been having very little energy lately and a lot of pain. So if I talk a lot less loud than I usually do, it's because of that as well. I'll try to fix it in editing if I'm really not understandable. So yeah, let's just get into my favorite books with LGBT plus representation. These are not all of the books I own with LGBT plus representation. I also have a lot of books with representation that I haven't read yet, but these are all the ones I have read that I really like. So yeah, let's just get into it. So first we have a book that I read last year that I really enjoyed, and that is Felix Ever After. I really liked this book even before I read it because it's so pretty with the sprayed edges. But the book itself also is very good. It has a lot of representation. It has trans representation, bisexual representation, demisexual representation, and a lot more. I just didn't write it down. But yeah, there's a lot of representation in this book. It's very good. I really want to reread it. But let's just get into the next book because like I said, not feeling well, so I need to get through all of these books very fast, and there's a lot of them. So yeah. Then next we have All Boys Are in Blue. This is a memoir with gay representation, trans representation, and a lot of other representation. It's also quite sad at times. It made me cry, and as you can see, I really liked a lot of the things said in this book. I think it was really good personally. And yeah, if you want a memoir with representation and a very beautiful cover, I would recommend this one. Then next we have a fantasy book, which is very rare that I read fantasy and actually really enjoy it. But I really enjoyed this book, and that is Of Fire and Stars. Now this has a sapphic main couple. I'm not sure what representation it had because I read this quite a while ago and I kind of forgot almost everything that happened, and I should probably reread it because I did really enjoy it when I read it at the time. So yeah, I don't know what representation it exactly has, but the main couple is sapphic. It also has a sequel, I'm pretty sure. It also features the same sapphic main couple. So yeah, if you want a fantasy book with representation, this is one. So yeah. Then next we have a middle grade book, and that is Melissa. This is a book with trans representation. The main character is trans. Now this book used to have a different title. It actually used to have the main character's dead name as the title, but the author changed that. And I don't know if the new books are going to be printed with the new title. I still have the old one. It's on my bottom shelf, but I didn't want to hold it up because it has the main character's dead name as the title, which the dead name is also mentioned in the book multiple times because that's what the character goes by in the beginning. But yeah, that's why I didn't want to hold up this book. I do own it, but I didn't want to show it. This is what the new title looks like. So yeah, it's a middle grade with trans representation. It's very cute. So yeah. Then next we have Rick, which is by the same author as Melissa. This also takes place in the same school, I'm pretty sure, because Melissa is in the book for a very short amount of time. But yeah, the main character in this one is Rick, and there is a sexual representation in this book. There's also a romantic representation in this book, because the main character is figuring out whether they're aro ace, or just asexual. So yeah, obviously this is again a middle grade, and I don't own this book actually because it's very difficult to find. But yeah, a middle grade with asexual representation is very, very rare. So yeah, go check out this book if you want that kind of book in your life. So yeah. Then next we have a manga. I did include a couple mangas on this just because there aren't a lot of mangas with good LGBT plus representations, so I wanted to mention some. And the one I'm going to mention now is My Brother's Husband. This has gay representation, and it's very sad apparently. I wrote in my Goodreads review that I cried, which I don't remember that, but I mean, if I cried then it must be sad. This is one of the mangas that I actually want to reread in June and see if I still think it's sad. So yeah, hopefully I'll still like it the second time around. Don't know how many volumes there are of this. I think like 4 maybe. So yeah, it's not that long either, and the topic is quite interesting. So yeah, I highly recommend it as like a manga with good like LGBT plus representation. So let's just get into another book because I know that not a lot of people are interested in manga. So yeah, let's just get into another book. So the next book is a book that I read last year during Pride Month, and I ended up enjoying it way more than I thought I would, and that is Two Boys Kissing. Now this is very sad, and it has trigger warnings for like very heavy topics about like mental health and AIDS and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely go in knowing the trigger warnings, which I actually didn't, and I actually kind of went into this blind and I didn't expect a lot from it. And then I read it and I was like blown away, which probably has to do with the fact that I had so little expectations of it. So yeah, this has like gay representation. It also has trans representation, and again, it's very sad, made me cry a lot. I really want to reread this one day, so yeah, I recommend it. Then next we have a book with LGBT plus representation that's written in verse. Now I don't read a lot of books in verse, but I really enjoyed this one, and that is The Black Flamingo. I really like this one. It had some really good moments in it. Again, I'm not someone who usually reads books in verse, but I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really nice. Again, it has gay representation. I don't know what other kind of representation it has because like it's pretty much only about the main character and the main character is gay, so yeah, don't know what other kind of representation it has, but it reads very fast and it's also very beautiful. Because it's written in verse, obviously it reads very fast, but yeah, I highly recommend it as like a very fast but very beautiful written book with LGBT plus representation, where it's also like pretty much like the main topic. So yeah, I highly recommend it. Then next we have a book that I haven't actually talked a lot about on this channel, but I did really enjoy it and it made me cry a lot. And it also has LGBT plus representation, so obviously it's going on this list because I really enjoyed it, and that is We Are Okay. Now this book has, again, obviously LGBT plus representation, otherwise it wouldn't be on this list, but the main couple, I guess, is sapphic. I say I guess because the fact that they're together is not really the main topic. The main topic is like mental health and stuff like that. It's a very sad book, made me cry a lot. Again, the LGBT plus stuff is not really like the main topic of this. So if you want like a book with representation, but it's not like the main topic and it will make you cry, I would recommend this one. It's really good. I really want to reread it. So yeah. Then next we have another manga, and that is Until I Meet My Husband. This is actually a memoir by an activist in Japan. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I'm pretty sure he and his husband were like the first people to get married in Japan as like a gay couple. This was quite good. It was quite sad as well. Obviously it has like gay representation and it has like stuff about mental health and stuff like that. So yeah, I recommend it as like a manga that's like a little bit different than the other ones because obviously it's like a memoir and there aren't really like a lot of those in like manga form. So yeah, I highly recommend this one if you want to read like a memoir in manga form with like gay representation and also like written by an activist. So yeah. Then next we have another manga, and that is My Son Is Probably Gay. Now as you can tell from the title, this has gay representation. It's basically from the perspective of a mom who sees her son like interacting with another boy from his school and like guys on TV, and basically thinks that like her son is gay and is like preparing for him to like come out to her someday and react in a very good way. So yeah, it's all about that. It's very sweet and adorable actually, the way that like the mom is trying to like make it clear that she would support her son in any way, and like the son is just kind of like a bit confused about what's happening because he's also quite young. I'm pretty sure I think he's like 12 or 13, but yeah, it's very adorable. His like little like crush on the other guy is really adorable, and yeah, I hope that this ends well, and I hope that like it doesn't have like a sad ending, which I'm pretty sure it won't, because it's very cute and adorable. So yeah, I highly recommend it. I talked about this a bit more than I did with the other ones, just because like I think the title puts a lot of people off because it has like the word probably in it, and you might think that like the mom is like just like making assumptions, but it's based on his behavior. So yeah, I highly recommend this one. It's very cute and fluffy. It's manga. I don't know how many volumes it has, but I've read like 3 or 4, and they're pretty good. So yeah. Then next we have Queens of Geek. Now this has a sapphic main couple. Like there's 2 main couples. One of them is a sapphic couple. Pretty sure one of them is bisexual, might be wrong. And then there's also anxiety representation and autism representation. And the author themselves is autistic. So yeah, book by an autistic author with LGBT plus representation. So I highly recommend it. It's very good. It's also quite a fast read, despite how like big the book is. Like it's a bit bigger than like average size books. So yeah, it reads very fast. It's very like cute. It also can be a bit heartbreaking at moments, but yeah, I highly recommend it as like a book with autism representation, but also a book with like LGBT plus representation. So yeah, then next we have a book that is a little bit different from the other books on this list, and that is because it is purely informational, and that is How to Survive a Plague. Now, if you've been watching my channel from the beginning, you know that I talked about this book quite a lot last year, but it's basically about like AIDS and how it like started and how a lot of the homophobia surrounding AIDS started. And you follow a couple people who are like actual people who like get AIDS or who have a partner who got AIDS, and you follow them. And it's very sad, made me cry a lot, and it's very informational about like AIDS and stuff like that, and how badly it was handled because of the fact that it was, you know, seemingly mainly gay people getting it. Obviously it wasn't just gay people getting it, but yeah, it was seen as like a gay disease, and so it was treated very badly. There wasn't a lot of research about it. They were just like letting these people die basically. So yeah, if you want like a very informational book about AIDS and how badly it was handled, I recommend this one. Obviously it has LGBT plus representation. I mean, you know, it feels a bit weird saying that, but like they're actual people who, you know, a lot of them were like gay or bi and were in like relationships with other men. So yeah, it has LGBT plus representation. Feels a bit weird to put it on this list, but like all the other like cute fluffy books. But yeah, it's important to like read a book like this and like educate yourself. It is very long though. Like I think it was like, I don't know, like 16 hours long for me. Like I read it with an audiobook. It's very long, but to me it was worth it to like educate myself on it. So yeah, I recommend it, but in a different way that I recommended the other ones. Obviously this is not like a light fluffy book that I recommend. This is like, if you want to educate yourself, I recommend it. So yeah. Then next we have Kase-san. Now this has multiple volumes with like different titles, but I'm just gonna call it that. This has a sapphic main couple. Not sure 100% about the representation in it because I don't know if they ever mention it, like what their sexualities are. But yeah, it's a sapphic couple, very cute and fluffy. It's also quite sad sometimes, not like really sad, but just like a bit like, just a tiny bit sad. So yeah, recommend it as like a manga with good like LGBT plus representation, because again, there's not really like a lot of it. So yeah, I recommend it. Then next we have Honey and Issue. This is a book that I read on my e-reader. It was very good. It has a sapphic main couple. It has bisexual representation, which is like one of the main topics in the book, about how people will like invalidate bisexual people if they've never been with someone of the same like gender. So yeah, this is a book with also like a lot of POC representation, meaning like people of color. It also is really cute and fluffy at times, a little bit sad at times, but mainly like cute and fluffy. I really enjoyed it. Really want a physical copy of it because it's also very pretty. So yeah, I recommend it. Then next is actually a book that I got an ARC from NetGalley, which I'm really grateful for because I really enjoyed it and I really want like a physical copy of it, and that is Never Been Kissed. Now this book has gay representation, it has demisexual representation, it's very like cute and fluffy most of the time. It doesn't have like any spicy scenes in it, which I really enjoyed. It also is like a bit sad at times. It didn't actually make me cry, but it did make me like a little bit emotional. So yeah, I highly recommend it. This book will be more difficult to find because obviously I got an ARC from it and I don't think it's out yet. I might be wrong on that. I'll correct myself if it's already out. But yeah, I really want a physical copy of this book because I really enjoyed it. Has good representation. Yeah, let's move on to the next book. The next book I read with an audiobook. It was quite short but quite sad. I wasn't expecting to have like an emotional reaction to such a short book. I'm pretty sure it's only like 3 to 4 hours long, which is quite short. Don't know how many pages it actually has. Probably like less than 200, but yeah, it's very sad at times. It has gay representation. It has mental health representation. Very sad again, so be warned. But yeah, I do recommend this one as like a quick, fast book that you can read that will also probably make you cry. So yeah. Then next we have a book that I rarely actually show on camera and I don't just show a picture of because I really dislike the cover of this book. But yeah, that book is More Happy Than Not. This obviously again has LGBT plus representation, it has gay representation. Don't know what other representation it has because I forgot, but this is very sad. I cried very hard at this book, which I wasn't expecting because I didn't actually like this book in the beginning, and I still to this day don't fully like it because I had like issues with some things said in this book, but it did make me cry very hard. I wasn't expecting that, but again, don't like the cover of this book and the way that it looks, like the half flap thing. Don't like it. But yeah, again, it does have LGBT plus representation, but it is very sad, so like be warned about that. So yeah, I do recommend it, but again, very sad. Lots of like trigger warnings. I don't know for what exactly because I feel like if I mention the main trigger warning, I'm gonna like spoil the entire premise of the book. I'm pretty sure there must be like a list out there with the trigger warnings for this book. But yeah, very sad. And also LGBT plus representation, so yeah. Then we are finally at the last book on this list, and that is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Now, I don't actually talk about this book much because I keep forgetting that it exists because of its like place in my shelf. So I should probably do something about that, but I did really enjoy this. I read it with an audiobook even though I have the physical copy because I couldn't get into it in the beginning, but by the end I was like sobbing my eyes out. So again, quite sad, trigger warnings, stuff like that. It has obviously LGBT plus representation, that's what this entire video is about, but the representation specifically bisexual representation and lesbian representation. Might be wrong about that, but yeah, it also has like gay representation, but again, it's very sad. Like this book got quite popular recently, so I'm pretty sure you've heard about it, but yeah, it's quite sad, made me cry a lot. Trigger warnings, look them up. Can't give them to you because I don't know what's going to be a spoiler and what's not, but yeah, look up the trigger warnings if you want to. I really enjoyed this book. Don't talk about it a lot because I keep forgetting that it exists, and again, I should change that. But yeah, I highly recommend this book. So yeah, let's just end this video. So like I said, that was the last book on this list. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really didn't like the outfit that I had on today because I tried doing something different and I don't think it worked, but yeah, I tried my best to like look cool and I think I really failed at it, but yeah, I tried my best to also seem like a bit more energetic in this video. Don't think that worked out either. I don't think anything worked out today, but yeah, I hope you guys still like enjoyed this video. I hope you got some recommendations out of it, and I'm now gonna stop filming and maybe see if I can film another video because I'm not quite at my limit yet to film a video, so I might push myself and film another one so I have some spare videos. But yeah, we'll see about that. But again, thank you for watching and bye. Also, happy Pride Month.